Hello, we're live. Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me, our small but wonderful group, and how amazing that we've stuck with it for so long. Hello, Eric. Definitely count on you. I hope you're well. I hope those fingers are doing their thing, movable and able to fold. If not, I know you'll be able to do it whenever you can, whenever you want at the right time. I think I need some more coffee. My voice is sounding a bit croaky, isn't it? Oh, fingers fizzing. I'm very glad to hear that. Um, Excellent. So this week I thought I'd bring along, I've been doing a lot of experimenting myself recently. I've encouraged myself, bizarrely, by being inspired by the virus itself. Hello, Vera. Welcome. The idea of actually all evolution is about generating new folds, and there's no real foresight as to how things will work. So just generating and seeing what happens. It's a really nice thing to do. Thank you, Eric. So this obviously is very much based on a traditional crane. And one of my favourite moments with the crane is the point when you bring out the wings and the back inflates. And I just sort of thought, actually, there's an element there that's quite flower-like, like a round heart to end. So I wondered whether it's possible to do that instead of becoming a head and a tail, whether it could be like petals and a centre. So, yeah, so I will be sharing how to do this. I have to say, it's a really good one for your patience because there's a point when you're trying to inflate the centre, it can so easily rip. So you'll either just love it. Hello, honey. You'll either love it or it may absolutely infuriate you. But it's a really good one for teaching you patience. So you may need to be able to do it possibly a few times. We'll see. But it's a good little challenge. It's kind of almost got a little base, and it does feel like a bird as well at the same time. So I was using some tiny, gorgeous little rainbow papers, which are really nice. Very nice. I think they're called blossom papers. Hello, Stephen. Excellent. Oh, the original version. Of course. Oh, so I'm glad that maybe this is a slightly different variation. It was just me playing around, really. Yeah, it's such a comforting one, isn't it, to do the crane? It's an interesting one because if somebody's new to origami, it's not the easiest thing to start with, is it? The crane. But it's something which everyone's enthusiastic about trying, which does make it a good encouragement. Hello, Alison, Marnie, obviously Stephen, thank you. Honey, it's so great to have you. Vera, it's great to have you all. I think people are gathering. I'm impressed. It's sunny outside and you've actually gathered a computer. Well done. But hopefully it feels like some social time, which is what this is intended to be. So, yeah, obviously all of these films, these folds, dedicated to encouraging my colleagues. And I know that they do come and join me as well in many different ways. Sometimes the films, sometimes these live folds. It depends what's happening. And actually, very excited. I've started. I can't believe I didn't think of this before. A colleague suggested it. Staff Origami Club in our hospital. Of course, it's so obvious. And actually, online works very easily because it can be in the evening, and online is so accessible. So there are colleagues who've really got into this over this time. Who've just said what a difference it helps teach them that kind of calmness and patience, and it's helped them in many ways. So just so wonderful to have brought, this is something new for them that they wouldn't have otherwise done, but has helped over the pandemic. I think also, I'm sure many people who are working at home as well, it's very isolated. So, oh, you're baking in the sun. Excellent. Why not do both? Yeah, why do you can be next to a computer anywhere, can't you now? So yeah, this is my little variation on the crane. I've been doing all sorts of little variations. Another variation I'm going to bring along. This isn't the crane, the classic fortune teller. And I don't know whether this has been done by others. It does work, but it looks kind of like a flower as well, and it does work as a fortune teller. And the advantage is, of course, it's one piece of paper, so it cannot fall apart. So this is something I'll show you. I don't know, Stephen, have you seen one of those before? You're going to know your stuff quite well. Or Eric. So fortune teller flower, that's quite a fun one, and it still works as a fortune teller. Other things, this is something I found last night. Oh, excellent. Thank you. This is something I discovered last night. I have to say, I call this a slippy star because although in practice it does tack in on both sides, it so easily falls apart. So I just thought it was a fantastic shape. And so I did use a little bit of Pritt stick to keep things in place, because actually this would be too infuriating otherwise. And I thought, well, I either appreciate and enjoy what it is or I don't. But I'm calling it a slippy star because it might slip. But it's a great shape. Like, it looks so dynamic. That was last night. Other things that I've been making, I am valuing that I have. Yes, it does, Stephen. It's basically a little variant of the fortune teller, the salt teller. So I've been making ones that are deliberately very strong, so no glue. And I have found that they do look prettier and better balanced if everything is just tucked in against itself. It is more pleasing. I can definitely see that. This is one just purely tucking in. It's really strong. I'm calling it a leafy reef after someone said it's the one with the leaves. So it does look a bit leafy reef. And this one, that's quite fun too. Again, very strong, which is great, and it's sort of an interesting pleated effect. So gosh, I've been finding so many different things, and I haven't quite got around to diagramming everything. Hoping I can pick them apart and work them out. I don't know, but yeah. But I thought the fortune teller flower was a really fun one. So anyway, lots of things to show you in coming weeks, months, who knows, years, who knows, hopefully. Thank you. So, oh gosh, I have been talking for a while, haven't I? Oh, this is a bit of a show and tell. That's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be us doing things together. So let's get, oh, Melvin, lovely to have you here. So we're going to make this little origami peace crane flower. I'm going to show you how I did mine anyway. So I'm grabbing a board to press on, and I will assume that you don't know how to do the crane. I know most of you will, but keeping accessible for everybody. So for those of you who know how to do the crane, it'll be very comforting and relaxing. So we're going to take a piece of paper. Oh, thank you, Marnie. Yeah, and actually, hopefully you'll be able to make all these things, because in time I will make films of everything, because actually a fold a week is quite a lot. So the more they're ones that are original that I've found, I'm just happy to pass on, the better, I think. Yeah, so all I'm doing is halving a piece of paper. And it's nice to bring new things. I can definitely see the value of those folds, which are strong. They're definitely harder to find, aren't they? So I'm going to make a square. Oh, that's right. And this is the classic size for origami. It's a nice comfortable size, isn't it? It's 15 by 15 centimeters. We'll remove a rectangle. So if you wanted, it's a bit late now, but you could have done a bit of colouring in on your square as well. So for my one, which is sort of rainbowy colours, inspired by these blossom papers, I thought that was a really nice idea, this gradation of colour. So obviously the centre of my paper was yellow, and I just sort of went through the spectrum really, which was very relaxing to do. So another extra pleasure you can add. Excellent. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea, Stephen. Some of the best ones that I've done little diagrams for, and I've sort of kept them, and I'm hoping I can pick them apart. But honestly, I think over the last couple of months, about 80 different folds. It's been really busy. So it's like I either sit there documenting them, or I just let myself keep going and seeing what I do. So which is what I've ended up doing. I'm just going along with my enthusiasm, figuring it will come back, which it probably will, but at some point I should document them. Right, so we've got a square with a diagonal. We're going to do the other diagonal. It's just such a wonderful thing, the crane. As I said, I'm sure many of you will know this, and if you don't, it's something that you'll want to do. Obviously, a crane With so many, it's such a symbol of good luck, isn't it? I think through cultures, the crane. I'm going to do a horizontal and a vertical line. I've ended up doing this all a little bit different in this age of showing on camera to in person, actually, to be able to make it easier to explain, keeping it a little bit more flat than I used to do. Many ways that you can do the same folds, aren't there? So I did my diagonals, and then I turned it over, and I did my horizontal and vertical. Oh, yeah, they're more like 80. I have to say about quite a lot of them, about 20 of them were triangle-based ones. What's going on with my voice? I haven't drunk enough, I think. Yeah, it's an evening thing, and then it's really bad because I end up playing around with the scraps of paper. These little bits I use as my playing around with, and then it's usually late, kind of after 11. I'm finding things. It's kind of annoying if you want to get to sleep, but I suddenly find my energy picks up once I start playing with the paper. So, but it's good to feel inspired, isn't it? I'm sure you get that as well, honey, or an artist. So we're all creators, really. So we did our diagonals, we turned over, we did our horizontal and vertical. Now you should be able to just push everything together. It's almost like the fortune teller. That's it. Oh, lovely hearing about Robert Hub in there. Thank you, Melvin. Demonstrating folds and TV in black and white on a black cushion tilted to. Oh, really? Oh, it's so lovely to hear because I haven't seen any of his folds on TV. I only ever hear descriptions from people. It's just so magical, actually. It's like you're hearing that little bits of memories from people. So I hear from patients, and recently met someone who had met Robert Hubble as a little boy, and became friends of family friends, and it's just wonderful to hear that he was really kind and did lots of magic and lots of folding, obviously. It was very fast because I guess obviously magician, it's all about your hands, so very, very good. Right, so hopefully you've got a square which comes together in the middle like so. Just shout if not. No, that's great, Melvin. I hope one time somebody said that, does the British Origami Society have the films of Robert Harpin? It'd be great to have some of those online. Wouldn't that be good? Be very nice to see. Or maybe it's just magic that we hear it related one person to another. So the top end, which is the loose end, I'm going to take that side and bring it to the middle. Yeah. I hope so too. I think it'd be really nice to see them. I think it could bring back a lot of memories for people. And from what I understand, his wife wasn't well. He had burns after a bomb was dropped in the theatre that they're at, and he helped rescue her. And I guess obviously being so much pain and so much difficulty from a lot of burns, that I guess finding things that were therapeutic. So from what I heard, that he got into origami from seeing it in some way in hospitals, but I don't know. This is just from what I've eked from what people have said. So it's rather interesting, rather touching. Yeah. So she was a singer and would sing, I think, and support him in that way. It's rather romantic, isn't it? Her hero. There we go. So the outside again to that middle line. That's it. Take your time. Yeah, black cushion sounds very good. I have heard patients as well saying they get really frustrated because if I can imagine it with telly, you're not going to go super, super slow. It would be very hard to. And then if you at all get left behind, you're then going to feel really frustrated because there was no stop and pause, which should be the advantage of YouTube, that you could do that. It does have a videos. Oh, they should be digitalized, shouldn't they? I think that would be really important. Yeah. So this triangle at the end, for some reason I want to turn it to the top. I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it down There's probably many ways to do this actually. As I said, I used to do this in a different way, but this is adapted so I can hopefully show it fairly well. So I folded that down, and I like to, for some reason I always say this, but it's true. I like to think of opening a little present, these little flaps, like so. It's just those nice warm feelings. And I'm going to take that top layer and sort of holding on to this triangle at the top. I'm going to take this layer and bring it up and bringing it all in to lie flat. As I said, if you've at all done origami, you will know this so well. But for anyone new, this is not easy, and it's always quite tricky to explain, actually. So you're not adding any extra folds, you're simply changing the direction, but it's not an easy thing to do. But this is part of the magic of it, that you're doing something that's a little bit challenging, and it just keeps you kind of almost stimulated every time. I think this is all very much mental stimulation. And it never becomes 100% easy either. Although you do, I think the smaller they are, actually, the more automatic. Do you find that? If any of you who've done obviously a lot of cranes, where actually the small ones you can sort of do in your fingers after a while. Easier than this, actually, but this is good to show you. So we're doing the same thing, holding that triangle, opening that top layer. I could easily just show you the crane and then forget we're actually trying to make a flower. But it will soon start to change from being the bird. Bringing it up, it is a bit like a bird's beak, it's true. It's just got birdie quality to it all already, hasn't it? And inverting those lines. Just reversing the direction there. Take your time, enjoy taking your time. That's what we encourage. Holding this together. Yay. That's it. Yes, Honey asking about the time. There's nothing else to do, is there? Things. I used to go out sometimes, but I don't anymore. So it's good for hobbies. Either writing poems or doing origami or drawing or projects. Very nice. Right, if we were to do the traditional crane, we'd do something else. So instead, think of this more like the flapping bird, actually. So we've got the leggy end at the bottom. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, the plastic. That's nice. Yeah. Very nice to leave that behind. A little plastic it. So the leggy bits at the bottom, and we're going to turn to the side and opening this up and bringing this all the way up and folding it inwards. Looks like this is trying to become a head already. You know, you're not going to become a head, a flower. Can you see? So I turned it side. So this is the leggy area, turning it sideways, opening it up and bring it all the way to the top and bring it inwards. Now I just sort of made this and I just thought it was such like a nice little flower or bud. Again, it stands up quite nicely. And you could actually enjoy it just that as the feeling of a bud. You know, I love buds. I think particularly as this spring has felt so flipping slow, it's been great to treasure the buds and the feeling that they'll open. Maybe you've got plants growing at the moment. Trying to grow things outside our front door. We've attempted to grow things in the back. It's a bit too shady, so things never quite work. It's nice to put things out in the sun. Anyway, I digress. So, right. What we're going to try to do, and I do warn you to go extremely slowly and extremely patiently because it will almost certainly rip otherwise. We are going to have a go at expanding that. Can you see in the middle there is the middle of your flower? And we're going to try to expand it as you would with the back of the crane. Right, tips. I would recommend holding at the bottom. Don't hold up higher because if you pull out, you'll definitely tear it. So I'm going to hold there at the bottom and I'm just going to tiny bit bring out very carefully and then almost go on to the next two opposites. And I'm going to keep doing that. I have to go extremely slowly. Do not pull much. It will break otherwise. So give it a go. As I said, this is a real test of patience. I'm directing the camera down because I know if I don't concentrate really well myself, it's very likely to tear. And it pretty much did torn. Sorry about it. As I said, this will either bring you joy because it will celebrate your extreme patience, or it will drive you crazy. Oh dear, this is the joy of me bringing along my own models. Sort of tried and tested, or tested that it's tricky. Yeah, I feel like mine will break any moment too. Oh gosh, it is. And you know what? I have to sort of, yeah, even show it to the camera. It means I'm not able to do it as carefully as I need to. Well, you could leave the centre of your flower not sticking up, but yeah, I think you almost have to look down on your flower yourself. Sorry. If I do it to the camera, you can see mine's got a tear in. And actually, the film that I did had a tear in. But I had managed to do it quite a lot myself. But your concentration needs to be 100%. Sorry, Melvin. How are you all getting on? Is it like one of those impossible things? Yeah, as I said, mine is already torn. Oh, it's really difficult. Why is it so difficult? I think, though, that this is what's great about origami. It teaches you so much patience and to laugh it off. So I definitely recommend you practice it. By saying that, I've practiced lots of times and it's still good to it. You'll be very proud of yourself if you actually manage to do it. Bit by bit. That's right. Are you managing it? Oh, well, I guess when it's something a little bit like that, I'm gonna go to one that I've done before. So I suppose so that you feel as if it's taking up that sort of space. That would be the ideal. As I said, my one's already ripped, so it's stay positive. Yeah, don't go too far, Money. I reckon. Honey, oh, well done. Yeah, I don't know about tips on making sure. No, no. Honestly, I don't actually know a full hardy way to stop this breaking because it's happened to me many times. Just be kind that it's just very tricky. So I will show you from my broken one. So you know it's not just you. So to open up your flower, it's coming out. Well done. It's a test of patience, isn't it? Maybe I'll let you all do your good work. Yeah, as I said, I found actually trying to do it in the camera, I cannot focus enough on what's happening to the paper. You have to be completely attuned to the paper. It's a good one for your patience. My little broken flower, but it may just expand. And it may be that this is your first model of many to come. So shall I attempt to show you how to open your flower? So you've sort of got your petals, and what I'm doing is I'm just bringing down and slightly squeezing at the side. Oh, exactly. The underneath is actually quite interesting, isn't it? So I'm just taking each side, and it'll be lovely whatever you've done. It's a little listening to the paper, very gentle. I think this is the biggest test of patience, isn't it? I don't know if there's been any work with surgeons. I can imagine that, like, really, someone who's got to be very precise, very careful. No ripping. I don't know, but I can imagine it's the sort of thing that could be a useful exercise. My broken flower. Yeah. So it's probably why it's not been commonly done. Oh well, you have to laugh, don't you? But yeah, the underneath is rather lovely. So I mean, that could be the way that you can appreciate it. You can blow. Oh really? Oh brilliant! You're right, honey. Oh, amazing discovery. Seriously. Well, this won't blow, will it? Because I've done it. Oh wow. So could you do that at an earlier stage? Honey, you're a legend. Oh, this is to fold up the triangular fats. Oh, interesting. You see, there's so many ways of doing it. Working this time slowly, slowly, slowly. Exactly. Press it slightly, Lizzie. I do like that idea of blowing underneath. You're absolutely right, honey. So there's so much we can do with this, isn't there? See it as a meditative process. Oh, and yeah, the end. It's now got lipstick on as well. Antoine. It's had an interesting run, this flower already, but isn't it an interesting shape? Yeah, very strong. Feels very nice. It clearly could become a little animal or something. I'm happy that well done, Matt. What about mine? I'm not even going to attempt it. There is only so much I can do. I definitely find this is a hard one on the camera. Oh, exactly. I'm really curious. Next, I'm going to make my own and have a go blowing it up. That's a great idea. Ah, thank you, Stephen. Oh, yeah. So I've just been deliberately starting often with the traditional models and just playing, but it was from seeing how when it comes together, it feels like a little bud. So and I love that expendable back. Oh, that is just being yeah, that's true. It is. It is like true. Right. I'm curious. What else is going to happen with this now? Hmm. These are ones I did earlier. Honestly, my film, if you see the film, I attempted to do the film. It was the second one. The first one completely broke, and I had to delete the film, and then I did the second one. It still tears a little bit. I'm just going, you know what? That's as good as it's going to get on film because this is a tricky one. But it's lovely for your skill and focus as long as you can laugh about it and improve. Yeah, many things that you can do with this, I'm sure. So it feels nice on your hand too, doesn't it? Nice little strong structure. Oh, excellent. I'm so glad Stephen inspired you to do experimentation. Yeah, variants, endless variants, which is how, I guess, origami, how evolution itself works. Of not being afraid to just try. It's all about being playful. And I've really been finding my playful side to this. I mean, I've always found it playful and delightful and ways that you have to understand what you're doing as you go along. And you often learn the hard way when the paper tears. This, I still don't know quite how to make sure it doesn't do that. But isn't that a joy? It keeps up your focus and concentration. Oh, I'm so glad that you've enjoyed that one. So next week will be exciting. It's very meta. I'm going to stop. That's a little hint as to what we might be doing from someone who very kindly gave her support as well. So the next week will be a treat. So it's not my design and it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. It feels as if it's something that's timeless, very powerful, from an amazing woman origamist, and it'll be brilliant. Yeah, I agree. Challenging character building this one. Oh, you're welcome. I hope it's made you smile as well, even if it tore. Then you'll be able to do it again, and it's funny how tricky it is. As I said, I always find that every piece of origami has its own tricky aspect to it. I don't know if you find that, and that's probably what makes it special and very satisfying at the end when you finally do it. So take care, everyone. I will see you next week if you're free, 2 o'clock as usual, and something else special. And I'll get thinking what else to record. But these are all. I don't know if you've got any feelings. Any of these ones I've shown you, which you might like. But yeah, let me know if you've got any that you particularly like. So take care, everyone, and see you soon. Have a good week. Look after yourselves.